Welcome back to the Sharing English podcast, where we explore stories from the English-speaking world, spoken slowly and clearly for curious English learners like you. Let's get started. Hey everyone, it's your host Freya. Today, we're here a little early, and that's because we're taking a closer look at one of the most famous holiday poems in American culture, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." By the end of this episode, you'll understand where the poem came from, how it shaped the modern image of Santa Claus, and you'll learn important vocabulary and expressions that appear in the poem. And at the end, I'll read the full poem aloud so you can enjoy it the way millions of families still do every Christmas. Let's get started. "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" was first published in 1823 in a newspaper in upstate New York called the Troy Sentinel. It was printed anonymously, meaning the author didn't sign their name, and it was actually called A Visit from St. Nicholas. Most people today credit the poem to Clement Clarke Moore, an American scholar and professor. The story goes that Moore wrote the poem as a fun Christmas Eve story for his own children, and someone in the family shared it with the local newspaper. Years later, Moore finally said publicly that he was the author. There is a small historical debate about whether another man, Henry Livingston Jr., may have written it, but most scholars still consider Moore the official author. What matters most is that this poem changed Christmas forever. Before this poem, Santa Claus didn't have one clear appearance or personality. Different communities imagined him in very different ways. But Moore's poem gave Americans a shared picture: a cheerful, magical visitor who arrives during the night, travels with reindeer, and brings gifts to sleeping children. Those ideas spread quickly, and soon they became the standard image of Santa in the United States. So much of what we imagine today about Santa Claus actually comes from this one poem. It gave us Santa as a jolly old elf, 8 reindeer with individual names, Santa traveling by sleigh, Santa entering homes through the chimney, children sleeping while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, stockings hung by the fireplace, Santa carrying a sack of toys, and of course the famous final line, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night," though originally it says "Happy Christmas to all." If you have ever watched an American Christmas movie or seen a Christmas card with Santa on it, you have seen the influence of this poem. This poem is over 200 years old, which means it uses some words that were common in the 1800s, but are not used as often today. Let's look at a few of them so the poem is easier to understand, though of course I can't cover all of the words. There were a lot of old-fashioned words, like "'twas." This is an old abbreviation for "it was." So, "'Twas the night before Christmas." It was the night before Christmas. Then we have sugar plums. These are small sweet candies. Miniature, a more advanced word we still use today that means a very small version of something. Luster, a soft glowing light. Droll, funny or strange in a charming way. Bundle, a group of things tied together. Sleigh, a vehicle with runners used on snow. kind of like a wagon with skis. Chimney, the tall structure on a roof where smoke leaves a fireplace. Clatter, loud noises and lots of activity. And peddler, a traveling salesperson who sold goods they carried with them. And there were some Christmas words that we still use to celebrate today, like stockings. These are long socks hung at the fireplace for Santa to fill with gifts and sweets. Reindeer, the animals from the Arctic that pull Santa's sleigh. And St. Nicholas or St. Nick, another name for Santa Claus. In terms of grammar and style, the poem uses many rhyming couplets, which are pairs of lines that rhyme with each other. For example, the children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. It also uses vivid adjectives like jolly and droll and cherries and participle phrases to create very clear pictures in the reader's mind. Understanding these elements will help you enjoy the poem just like native speakers do. "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" is still read in many American homes every year, usually on Christmas Eve. Parents read it to children, teachers read it in classrooms, and it continues to appear in movies, TV shows, holiday cards, and even advertising. It is one of the most important pieces of Christmas literature in the English-speaking world, not just because it's charming and fun, but because it shaped the version of Christmas that many people know today. And now that you know the background and vocabulary, I'll read the full poem for you. If you're able to, sit back, relax, maybe even pause and make yourself a cup of hot cocoa or a Christmassy tea and enjoy this classic Christmas story. A Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clarke Moore. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Thanks for listening to the Sharing English podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, leave a rating or review, and share the podcast with a friend who's also learning English. You can find out more about me and the podcast at our website, www.sharing-english.com. New episodes of the Sharing English podcast are available weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, let me know, what topics are you interested in hearing more about? Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep sharing English.